Hey there, I'm Heintzel, and welcome back to another Five Nights at Freddy's 1 video. So, if you haven't already, I made a video a few months ago on how to beat Five Nights at Freddy's 1 Night 1. Now, that's a great video. I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't already. I go over the basics of the game and how everything works, so if you're interested, I recommend checking that out. However, Night 2 is a whole different issue, because Bonnie and Chica move a lot faster. As you can see right there, they're already gone. And the biggest issue I see with Night 2 is Foxy, because while it's pretty simple with Bonnie and Chica, that they come to the right and left doors and you have to close it when they're near, Foxy's a little differently. So we actually need to prevent Foxy from getting in as well as Bonnie and Chica. Now Freddy mostly moves on Night 3, so we shouldn't have to worry about him, but I will talk in this video about what to do if he does move. So let's get straight into the video. Again, I'm Heintzel. Please subscribe if this video helps, and yeah. So, again, the basic strat for Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is conserving your power while checking your right, left door and your cameras. Now, to deter Foxy, which is probably what you're mostly wondering when watching this video, you need to look at the cameras. However, again, camera drains your battery, and Freddy also requires you to watch him on the cameras, so it's important you look at your cameras as well as your doors. Now, the perfect strat here is to go right door, left door, then camera, and you want to switch back. So here again, I'm not doing that, but you'll see that here in a second. I'm going to go right door, then left door, and then I'm going to hit my camera. And that's, again, important because I'm doing all three things. I'm making sure Chica isn't there on the right, Bonnie isn't there on the left, and again, the camera, while looking at the cameras, keeps Foxy at bay. So again, if you're trying to prevent Foxy from even coming out of the curtain, which is the goal, then we have to be careful to watch our cameras. As you just saw, Bonnie's at that left door. We saw him because we've been checking our doors, and his shadow's gone, so we can actually open that door back up. Now check the right side. Again, Chica will come on the right, Bonnie will come on the left. So as long as we understand that, and we understand that Foxy, it only comes out if we don't look at the cameras, then we should be fine. Now, this is a good time to go over Freddy's mechanic, because I think this part of the gameplay is pretty simple. Freddy will move if you don't watch his cameras specifically on the camera system. Now, while Foxy is just looking at the cameras in general, you don't have to look at his camera. You just have to look at any of the cameras to keep him at bay. Freddy requires you to look at him. Now, he will move cameras, and again, I'll make a whole video on that in Night 3, so subscribe if you haven't already, if you're interested on how to follow him on the cameras if he does move, and keep an eye on him. But again, Foxy, Freddy, very similar. Like Bonnie and Chica are very similar. Bonnie and Chica will come to your doors, and you have to shut the door when they're there. Again, Chica will be in the window, and Bonnie will be in the door. And Foxy, again, you have to watch the cameras, just any camera in general, just open cams to keep Foxy at bay. And Freddy requires you to watch the specific camera that Freddy is on to keep him at bay. And if Freddy moves cameras, you have to continue watching that new camera and find him to make sure he doesn't get to your door. So yeah, we're doing pretty good. We are at 70% battery, and it is currently a little under halfway through the game, so we're doing very good here. Again, the strat is left door, right door, cameras. There we go. So as you can see, I'm doing that, and we should be fine. Again, key at the door so we can go right, left, and camera. Again, try to do this every other time, because using your cameras and your doors both use power, and FNAF 1 is very limited on power. So it's important that you try to conserve the power the best you can, because again, if the power goes out, Freddy can get in no matter what and kill us, as well as the other animatronics. So it's definitely good to be careful. Now, if you want to, by the way, there's Bonnie, close that door. We can always switch over to Pirate Cove real quick just to make sure he hasn't moved, but we should be fine. And as you can see on the window there, there's no shadow for Bonnie, so we know when he leaves. Chica will be in the window, so you can see when her face leaves, but Bonnie, you have to watch through the shadow when he's at the door to make sure that he isn't there. So yeah, so we're actually right around halfway. We're doing pretty good. We have 60% power, which is not bad at all, and we're doing really good. So again, just stay right, left, and then cams, and then you'll go left, right, cams, and in reverse, and you keep doing that. Again, try to take small breaks in between this though, just to prevent wasting too much power, because if we do waste too much power, we will die, and that's what we're trying to prevent. So if you made this far in the video, you're doing pretty good. However, Foxy is the issue now, especially now at this time. He becomes a lot more active, so it's important that we make sure we're pulling the cameras up every once in a while. Now, there is a thing called a zero frame flip, which is where you flip the camera so fast it doesn't even recognize you putting it up. At least the visual doesn't. However, it still counts. So again, Camera's important. We see that Foxy is moving his way slightly out of the curtain. As you can see, he's now peeking at us. And that's just because we're not checking cameras as much as we should be. But we know we're fine. We're trying to conserve power. And let's discuss what happens if Foxy does come. So we'll have a quick second between Foxy running and getting to our door. It's around 2.5 seconds. So if you do notice that Foxy is no longer in Pirate's Cove, close the left door as soon as possible. And again, it's just best to avoid Foxy hitting your door because he will drain power, which again, we're very limited on. So we do want to just avoid Foxy in general from getting to our door and getting out of Pirate's Cove, which is important because we don't want to lose more power. So yeah, if Foxy does happen to leave, just try to keep an eye on his cams, especially at night too. It's not too hard to keep your camera on him the whole time because again, it's very rare for Freddy to move, and he shouldn't be much of an issue on this night. So just keep an eye on Foxy and constantly have that camera up just to make sure that he's still there. And once he does move, we can finally close that door and hopefully be fast enough. It's important to be fast, especially here. But Bonnie and Chica are staying at bay, so we're doing fine for now. But who knows how long that will last. So Foxy and Freddy are good. Left door is good, and right door is good. So yeah, we can always... You're welcome to look at the other cams while playing. However, it doesn't offer you much benefit to keep track of Bonnie or Chica because, again, we know they're going to get to our left and right doors. So if we know their final destination, it doesn't matter where their current destination is. Unlike Foxy, again, Foxy will only be in one destination or he'll be running down the hallway. So if he's not in his one destination, that being Pirate's Cove, it's important to close that camera system. Or the door, sorry. Again, we're getting a little low on power here as the night is coming to a close. So we're going to be careful to conserve as much as possible. More keeping an eye on that camera. Now, it is important to note that you actually don't need to use your lights on the left and right side of your door. Again, this requires a lot more listening skill, as you can actually hear Bonnie and Chica scuffling up to your door. So if you have really good hearing, you don't actually need to turn on that light on the right and left side. But again, most players aren't going to be doing that, so I recommend, just checking it every once in a while and following the left to right strat with the Foxy cam. So yeah, we're closing out night 2, and if you're this far in and you haven't died, you're doing pretty good. Again, if you're just making sure to keep that camera up and on Foxy and making sure the left and right doors are cleared, then you should be fine. I don't know if we've even seen Chica this whole night yet. I think Bonnie showed up twice. It always seems that Bonnie is more active. I don't think this is true. I think I've watched several videos on the statistics for Bonnie and Chica, and I'm pretty sure they're very similar, so I don't know why Chica hasn't showed up. I guess we're just getting very lucky. Okay, but our power is now at 26%, so it's important that we maintain our current trajectory while preventing any extra power loss. Like, for example, Foxy running at our door, which would not be good. So we're going to stay here for a second, just trying to not waste too much power. We're trying to listen for Foxy or Chica. We don't hear anything. Again, this is a good strategy to do once in a while, but doing it for long amounts of time will cause Foxy to move. And again, we do not want Foxy to get out of Pirate's Cove. So we're just going to stay here, trying our best to conserve power because we're a little low for the time we're at, which we are a little under a minute now until Foxy gets here. But we're doing fine. We shouldn't be killed yet. And our right door is fine. Okay. So yeah, we're now at 17%, which, is a little dangerous and not good. However, we also notice that Bonnie is at our door, so we're just going to keep it there and waste time. And there we go, 6 a.m. We finally made it. So that's night 2. I'm Heintzel. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.